Hey everybody, it is Prince's Friend, and I am here with the first review for this week of the Ladies of Prince Week, and it is for Apollonia's self-titled album, Apollonia. This album was released in 1988. So after Apollonia 6 kind of dissolved, because Apollonia didn't really want to do music anymore. She kind of was like, I'm one album and I'm done, and that's all I really need to do. She went around and she toured to promote Purple Rain and all that stuff, but then after that she was kind of done. And then in 1988, but she came back with this album because she wanted to start the next phase in her career, and that would eventually go on to be more acting gigs, and she would start her own company and all kinds of stuff. But the first thing was this album in 1988 called Apollonia. Now sadly, there isn't actually a lot of information on this album. I can't really find who wrote any of the songs, whether it was her or somebody else, who the producer was, and the lyrics aren't even anywhere, so it's really hard to figure anything out about this album. It's as if the world wants us to forget about this album. But I actually got news just yesterday that apparently they are re-releasing this album today with a second disc with extended verses and all that stuff. How about this though? Let's go through the tracks and let's see if you like the original versions and whether an extended version of any of these songs is worth your time. So the first track is Since I Fell For You. This is a dancey beat. The strum bass is kind of funky. I kind of dig it. Apollonia comes in with the singing, and it's kind of, it's just okay. From track 1, basically, you can tell that she's got a really good voice for pop. Its imperfections are kind of covered up for the most part, and it does sound good. There's a pretty good guitar solo in this very first track as well. All in all, though, it's a pretty good track to start the album on. It actually was the first single for the album, and it reached number 20 on the US dance chart. So apparently other people were digging it too. Track begins with some kind of like groovy keyboards. It really makes Synchronize sound like it's coming from the early 80s rather than the late 80s. The song is about getting in sync with the beat of Apollonia's heart. It's not really stated either way, but I think you could probably take this in the dance floor context or in the bedroom context. I prefer the latter personally. Again, there's some pretty cool guitar in this one. I really wasn't able to find any information on who did the guitar, but he or she was pretty darn good.
I see forever here in your eyes, and me, I take so much. They don't tell lies. I can feel it's really love.
So this is the first ballad that we get, and it's a ripe 80s ballad, so it's like mid-tempo beat but with slower lyrics. The hook sounds familiar, but I don't really know from where. And that du-du-du-du-du-du-du of the keyboards is pretty catchy too. Apollonia's voice doesn't really seem like it's able to keep up with the verses, but it does really shine in the choruses. Ballads always have kind of a way of showing people's weaknesses, but you can't not do them on an album either, so it's kind of a catch-22. I think it's a decent song.
I keep dreaming the same dream over and over. What does it mean more? I keep dreaming the same dream. The rest of my life is caught between the same dream. Are you dreaming the same?
And then we get to The Same Dream. This song kind of reminds me of the Beverly Hills Cop song, but kind of sped up and with lyrics, obviously. It's close, it's not exact. The song is about how she keeps having dreams about being with this guy. My thought, she's got a thing for that guitar player. They come in on this one, and it kind of steals the show again. It's crazy how good the guitar is on these tracks. This was a single off of the album. It did fail to chart.
Growing on you, I've got to
moment I saw the "you" in the title, it made me think that this song might have been about Prince. It's about what you think it's about, though. Her hanging around a guy who's not really into her until she kind of grows on him. This has happened to me before, so I can relate to this song a lot. Well, the parts I could understand I can relate to. The balance of the song basically hides Apollonia's voice under the music, so it's really hard to understand any of the lyrics. It's got a good beat though, so I think that kind of saves it.
Mismatch, unlikely combination, opposites attract. Mismatch, I'm so into you, opposites attract. I see one way, you see another.
So Mismatched is a song about mismatched people being attracted to each other. So the lyrics are just, I do this and you do that. And that's basically what it is. I liked it a lot better when it was called Opposites Attract and it was sung by Paula Abdul. But it did reach number 10 on the US dance charts in 1989, so I guess some people really dug it. I don't think it's for me though.
I love you with every beat of my heart, with every breath that I take, with every beat of my heart. I want you just like I have from the start.
Interestingly enough, if you didn't tell me that Beat of My Heart was an Apollonia song, I would have guessed it was some old Madonna song I had never heard. It's a good song, it's well constructed. I think Apollonia tackles the singing pretty well. The music has that keyboard and beat combo thing that sounds like it's a xylophone, which I'm actually kind of a fan of from the 80s. The lyrics are kind of corny, but that seems to fit too. But I think it's a pretty good song.
For your love, I will give you the stars above. For your love, I will give you all I could.
This song sounds like it could be a current one on the radio. I think it's because it reminds me of that I don't care, I love it song that I've heard on the radio. The chanting style is interesting and yet another tool that's used to hide a voice that isn't really that strong. I think it really works here with the echo effect that is also on her voice. It's an okay listen, but nothing really to write home about in my opinion. This is actually a pretty cute song. It's about putting out an ad for love. Musically, it feels a little clumsy on how the transitions go from the verse to the chorus, but otherwise, I think it's a pretty good dance song. The beat is enjoyable, her voice sounds pleasant, no complaints here. Except for the one that I said already earlier.
Ay, ay, ay.
Then we get to the finale. Basically, when she's in his arms, it makes her go, ay, ay, ay. It's kind of cute, right? But the verses aren't really sung. Instead, they're kind of shouted into the mic. And I wonder if they used kind of the arousing sexual moans later on in the song to make up for the fact that she wasn't really working too hard on the verses. I don't think that it does make up for it, but, you know, it's a theory. They did bring in a trumpet at the tail end, which was not on any other track. It does add something new to the musical tapestry of the album, but it almost felt like it was, you know, too little too late. Ay, 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 Zordon! In conclusion! I think creatively we need to compare this. This album was released the same year as Lovesexy, just for everybody's reference. In contrast, this was another heavy in the keyboards and drum machines song that, you know, was popular around that same time. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a bad album, but it's just like everything that was out at that time. Nothing really makes it stand out except for the fact that it was Apollonia. Remember her from Purple Rain. I think what it needed was something like a cameo from Morris, whose second album was still kicking at the time, or even Vanity. Like, who wouldn't have paid to have an album that had a guest feature from Vanity on the Apollonia album? I mean, come on, that would be awesome. But instead, we get Apollonia. Oh, and a mystery rock guitarist who found themselves on a pop dance album, even though it's labeled under rock on iTunes. After she was done with this album, she basically returned to her true passion, which was acting primarily. All in all, though, good album? What did you think of Apollonia's self-titled album? Let me know down in the comments, and let me know which one was your favorite song. While you're at it, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, support the channel by visiting our Patreon at patreon.com/princessfriend, and may you live to see the dawn.